All right, in this video, we're going to look at 7F to start, and we're just going to do a few more ratio and proportion problems. So this first problem says Chandra made a milkshake and made this milkshake by combining a half cup of ice cream with 3/4 cup of milk. And now we want to make different amounts of this milkshake, but we want it to taste the same. So if we add a half a cup of ice cream and 3/4 cup milk, we could then say, well, this is the same thing as a half a cup or 2/4 of a cup plus 3/4 of a cup. So in total, that makes 5/4 of a cup. All right. First part of this problem says, well, what if we wanted to make or use 3 cups of ice cream? Well, if I wanted this to be a 3, well, you would need to multiply this by 6, right? Because 3 is 6 times 1/2, right? 6 times 1/2 is 6/2, which is 3. So I would need to multiply this by 6, which would make that 18/4. And then I could either add those two numbers together, or I could multiply this by 6, which is 30/4. Now, clearly these fractions I could reduce and simplify, but that is not the point of this video. Right, simplifying fractions is something else. So I could take this much ice cream, mix it with this much milk, and I'd have this much total milkshake, and it would taste the same. But something that's common is to also limit the total amount. Like, what if I just wanted 3 cups total milkshake? Well, you could figure out what to do to this to make it a 3 cups, or like I said before, you could come up with your unit value. Like, let's just make this a 1. So what do you do to this to make it a 1? And the answer is, if you were to take 5/4 and multiply it by 4/5, you would get 20/20, which is 1. So to go from here to here, I would multiply by 4/5. So to get from here to here, I would multiply by 4/5. So 3/4 times 4/5 should be 3/5. And this is 1/2, and I need to multiply that by 4/5. So let's do 1/2 times 4/5, and that would be 4/10, which can simplify to 2/5. And hopefully we see that 2/5 plus 3/5 equals 1. Now the nice thing with having the unit value is it's really easy to go the other direction. If I have 1 cup here, well, to make it 3 cups, you simply need to triple that. So triple this, 9/5. Triple this, 6/5. And now we know exactly how much milk and ice cream we need to come up with 3 cups of a milkshake that tastes the same. Now, I started to introduce a little bit of arithmetic on some of this stuff. There is a very common arithmetic method that deals with these things, and it has to do with cross multiplying. Now, in the last video, when we were talking about the punch, we saw that 1/3 was equal to 2/6. And, so if I have 1 cup of juice and 3 cups of water, that's the same thing as 2 cups of juice and 6 cups of water. But you can also say, well, what if I have 6 cups of water? How much juice do I need? And then we would need to solve for this thing. And hopefully we could solve, right? If we multiply both sides by 6, we'd have 6 times 1/3 equals question mark. And then 6 times 1/3 is 6/3, which is 2, which is what we knew the answer was. So cross multiplying. Let's take a look at that in this problem right here. So this example says a recipe takes 2.5 cups of flour, and that recipe serves 6 people. But how much flour am I going to need if I want to serve 10 people, right? There's more people coming to the party. You got to up your recipe. How do we do this? So the amount of flour for 6 people, right? If I'm doing this as a ratio, flour to people should equal flour to people. We just need to scale this thing up. So if we scale the people from 6 up to 10, we need to scale the flour from 2.5 up to something else. Now, cross multiplying simply says you multiply this 10 over here and this 6 over here, so we have 6x equals 10 times 2.5. But there are a few algebraic steps in there that give insight into this process, and that is whenever you have an equation, you can do the same thing to both sides of the equation. So given this initial equation, I can multiply both sides by 10. When I do that, the 10s on the left side are going to cross off, which means I now have x equals 2 1/2 over 6 times 10. And now I can multiply both sides of this equation by 6. And when I do that, these 6's are going to cross off, which leaves me 6 times x equals 2 1/2 times 10. And so when you cross multiply, really, you're multiplying both sides of your equation by 6 and both sides of your equation by 10, and then simplifying, and we come to this place right here. So the cross multiplying method. So if I do that, multiply exactly what I said, I'm just erasing a few more things. So multiply the 6 over here and the 10 over here. We get 6x equals 10 times 2 1/2. And so this would say 6x equals now 10 times 2 1/2, or 2 1/2 times 10 should be 25, which says x equals 25 divided by 6, or 25/6, which should be 4 1/6 cups of flour is what you would need for 10 people. And then we could say 4 1/6 cups of flour for 10 people should be the same thing as 2 1/2 cups for 6 people. And we could go through it and verify that. But it's an algebraic method for solving the same thing. Now, I want to solve this using the other methods, which would say, here's people, here's flour, 6 people, 2 1/2 cups. And 2 1/2 cups is the same thing as 5 half cups. And I'm going to do this by coming up with a unit value. One person. So I have 1/6 the people, so I need 1/6 the flour. What is 1/6 of 5 halves? Well, that should equal 5/12. But now, if I wanted 10 people, well, that's 10 times this, so that should be 10 times this, which should be 50 over 12. And now if I simplify 50 over 12, that is hopefully 4, and 4 times 12 is 48, so 4 2/12, which can simplify to 4 1/6. So we can get the same answers lots and lots of different ways. Algebraic ways can be quick, but only if they make sense. If they don't make sense, then please go back to table methods, drawing picture methods, all these other ways we have of solving ratio and proportion problems. And that's it for this video.